With a brand new Mario Kart on the horizon for Switch 2, we have to talk about the things that needs to be in this brand new Mario Kart game, meaning things that we need to take out from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and things we need to add that are just straight up brand new. Before we get started, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart 9 or whatever the next Mario Kart is going to be called. Let's see how many new subscribers we can get on today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's dive into what we need from Mario Kart 9. Starting off, we need tons of brand new characters in Mario Kart 9. I feel like that was one of the weakest points to me with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is its roster, where half the roster was either babies or Koopalings. We need a lot more characters that represent different games throughout the series. I would even love for them to dive into the RPG series and add even more of those side characters, but I doubt they'll do that. Either way, I want this roster to be pretty massive. Still, one of my favorite rosters of all time for Mario is Super Mario Sluggers, which was a literal baseball game. So I want them to really go all out and give us some amazing character picks from different character series, like maybe some Donkey Kong characters from Luigi's Mansion, Princess Peach, Showtime could even get some, maybe even WarioWare characters. I just want to see everybody represented, especially when it looks like we're going to have about 24 racers at once. We need a huge roster to choose from then. And I know this one's going to get me hate, but I do think we need at least a couple more characters that are from outside franchises than Mario. For instance, how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe gave us Link and Animal Crossing characters with Isabelle and Villager, and we even got the Inklings. So I would love to see maybe just a couple more. For instance, like Kirby finally make a debut. Pac-Man would even be cool. I know that's outside of Nintendo in a stretch, but you know, they do have a collaboration with the Mario Kart arcade machine, so I can definitely see it happening. Other characters like Olimar, maybe even Samus, so it would be really cool just to see a couple more added. No, this would not turn the game into a Nintendo Kart. Relax, there are just a couple of additions. I would love to see new costumes or alts for characters, maybe even different character designs that you can choose from. Like we've seen Donkey Kong looks drastically different in this game, more like his classic version in the movie version. So what if all the other characters could get costumes like this too, whether it's just changing their skin, giving them costumes to represent past games, or maybe even changing their models completely. I mean, in Tour we saw SNES versions of Mario and DK Jr., so it's something that I think they definitely could get away with, and I would just make the game more dynamic instead of having all these different Cat Mario, Cat Peach, Cat Toad, you know what I mean? Like, actually give us costumes that we can just put on these characters, and maybe even costumes that we can unlock. Imagine there being tons of free updates giving us more costumes, but we got to do little missions for them each week or something. It would keep people coming back and playing and rewarding them, so that way when there are 24 racers, they can all be very distinctly unique to each player, especially if there's multiple Marios on the track. Maybe everybody could have a different costume or something. It would be really cool, and I really hope some way they have alts in this game. That, and I very much rather play as Luigi's Mansion King Boo version instead. Just face it, he's superior in every way. Something else I was never really impressed with was Mario Kart 8's item lineup. I feel like it was full of just stuff that we've been seeing throughout the series, and I get it, it's Mario Kart, you don't want to mess with some of the series staples, but honestly, I feel like a lot of these could go. If they really want to add a bunch of brand new items in Mario Kart 9, this is probably the cuts I'd do. This might be controversial, but every triple item just needs to go. I feel like it's fine just having a singular one of these items, but having triples just kind of clogs the item roulette, and also you have the golden mushroom that you could just keep instead of having the 3 mushrooms. So personally, I would just get rid of having triple of anything, although I think there's a good chance it could stay. It's just not needed in my head. The Piranha Plant and the Blooper are kind of useless items. Every time I get a Piranha Plant, I'm just waiting for it to finally go out because it's just so mid to me. And the Blooper, I mean, come on, how bad are you at driving to where it actually affects your eyesight? I mean, there's probably a good handful of courses that maybe makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's just one of those items I don't think anybody cares when they get it. And the Speaker is a great random first place item that you can get to help protect you even from the blue shell, so yes, it does have some value there, so I could see maybe it returning, but for the sake of this game, I feel like it could be replaced with something else. For now, the only other things I'd take away are the 8 and the coins. Yeah, the 8 can just get replaced with whatever the new game wants to do, whether it be character specific specials or something, and coins, we're gonna have a whole segment for that, so just wait on that. And the feather can be taken off since it's technically just a battle item. As far as new items, I mean, seriously, they just pulled from the Mario games. There's so many they could pull from, like even Mario Land with the ball flower, throwing bouncy balls all over the track and hitting people. I guess it'd kind of be the same as the fire flower, so maybe not. Maybe something like the metal cap from Mario 64 to protect you from stage hazards, or maybe even impervious to any item that can actually hit you from other racers. A flood item where you could spray other carts out the way. A mini mushroom that maybe speeds your cart up, but also lets you get really small, and maybe allows you to go into little hidden cracks and shortcuts within a track. Maybe even like Cappy or something where you could throw it at other racers and control them for like a second or two. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, there's so many items throughout various different 3D and 2D and even spin-off Mario games. I'm sure that they could come up with an awesome list of brand new items this time around. Which also leads me to my next thing. I want character-specific items to return. Yes, we used to actually have character-specific items back in Mario Kart Double Dash that gave you specific things that only that specific character could use. I use the word specific 100 times, I know. But it'd be really cool and actually be worthwhile to pick certain characters. Now, this does kind of conflict with something that I want to talk about later when it comes to stats and stuff, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But I don't want it to be extremely OP to where there's only a couple of characters that are worth picking, but still enough to be like, okay, I'd rather choose this character this race instead of this one. At least giving the characters a reason to be picked instead of it just being a character thing. So I would love for every character to have their own unique item. And like I said, it won't be like a final smash or something crazy, but just something that's really specific and unique to that character. Now, I wanted this to be its own section because it's so important to me. They need to fix the coins by either completely removing them from this game, which I think I'd prefer, or just changing how they work. For instance, they could have made it some type of important currency. For instance, if you collect 5 or 10, maybe you get to roll an item and actually get a new item instead of just collecting a coin instead. I think that would be really cool. Or what if you get to actually carry them outside of the race and use them? For instance, right now in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's just a stat, but what if you actually got to take the coins and purchase new costumes and skins with them, which would be perfect, and actually, you know, kind of want people to collect more coins on the track when they can, because they can unlock cart pieces, or maybe costumes, or even brand new characters altogether. I think that would be a perfect way to unlock things. But personally, I think coins should just go away entirely. Nothing's fun about holding a coin in first place. I know it's first place, but give us something. I mean, even a banana or a green shell like we used to have in first place is perfectly fine compared to just holding onto a coin. It just feels useless. I would love to see a new gameplay mechanic, and I feel like it's something that we need. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to just see basic Mario Kart, but still in my head, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is pretty basic. It doesn't do anything super crazy. Yes, its main mechanic is zero grav, but a lot of the time you can't even tell when you're in zero grav mode. It's not like the screen flips upside down or sideways or anything like that. You're still driving. It just looks like you're driving on a wall, but it doesn't feel like you're driving on a wall sometimes. You know what I mean? So I feel like they need a brand new mechanic to actually spice things up. And it could be something relatively small or something massive. I know a lot of people mentioned before that they would love to see like the Wonder Flower incorporated, where it changes the track and things start moving and track pieces start moving around. Maybe it's just like track specific mechanics. It's something that I've always wanted. Reasons to pick a track outside of track design. For instance, there could be certain things on the track that you can interact with, like cannons to shoot yourself out of, or little things that you can interact with in order to hit other players, like dropping thwomps or something by driving over a button. Or perhaps there's track specific items that you'll want to pick a track for. There's like 1 or 2 specific items for that track that actually act different than anything else in the game, making that track more unique. I mean, we've already seen a glowing takeout bag, which seems to represent that track based on the Yoshi's Diner that it's right underneath, so maybe there are specific items or transformation things for the tracks on each track. If flying and underwater driving makes a return, I really hope they change it up and actually make it useful, because the gliding is just that. It's just a smooth little glide until you get back to the track. There's not a whole lot you can do, and you can just barely move to the left and to the right. I wish there were sections where we could actually fly, kind of like Diddy Kong Racing, allowing us to fly along the air and actually have to control our carts in order to dodge obstacles and stay within a kind of sky track, if that makes sense. Like I said, if you play Diddy Kong Racing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the same with underwater, maybe just add something to it to make it actually, you know, interesting. I don't know, something would be really cool. But either way, if gliding does return, I really hope we can actually control it and actually move around in the air more. I want hardly no returning tracks. I know, this is kind of crazy. We always have kind of like classic cups that take us back to past tracks. I hope none of them return. Seriously, I want all of these to be brand new. After literally just playing through Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and a Booster Pass DLC, giving us 48 classic tracks returning, I'm sick to my stomach. I don't want to see any of these tracks return. They could bring them back in a new and unique way, sure, maybe, or maybe even the tracks that didn't make the cut in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I guess at the very least, bring those back instead. But honestly, if I had my way, I wouldn't bring any tracks back. No more retros, let's just do all brand new tracks. Especially since we're going to have around 24 racers at once. These tracks, if they're brought back, are going to have to be modified a lot to be made a lot bigger as well. Because racing on current Baby Park with 24 racers, I don't even want to think about that. And for new tracks, I really hope more of them actually take inspiration from past Mario games. I would like to see more tracks based on Mario's history, like a Mario Galaxy themed track in space, or maybe even a Mario Sunshine track. I know we had Delfino Plaza, but more along the lines of Delfino Square from the actual game. Or maybe one of the multiple different levels from Mario 64, like an actual Bob-omb Battlefield stage, or a stage where we race throughout the castle and jump through paintings. I think more stages like this could be really cool. Yes, I love the uniqueness of the original stages that we get in the Mario Kart series, but I think there needs to be a balance of also giving us stages that actually call back straight to past games. For instance, like Donkey Kong's Jungle like we have in the game right now, which is a direct callback to Donkey Kong Country Returns, so why not do that with more of the Mario tracks? And I would also love it if every single track in the game had a day and night cycle. Maybe it's actually dependent on your in-game time or like the actual world clock of your Switch, and it actually can tell if it's day or night time, and it actually changes the track with it's like sunrise, midday, sunset, and then even like night. Would be so freaking cool. Or maybe there's just like a straight up toggle that you can change in game where you can say, okay, I want it to be nighttime this time around, or I want it to be daytime. I think that would be awesome. I mean, it's something that I would desperately want, and it would change the course up just enough for me. Or maybe even certain things happen with the time of day. Or what if there's like actual weather? That'd be so cool as well. Like it could be cloudy or foggy or snowy or rainy. Oh my gosh, I would love that. I want kart customization to be reworked. I'm fine customizing my wheels, my base, my glider, everything else, you know, even add some things as well, like maybe even like your muffler or the axles or something, the rims. I don't care as long as it doesn't affect stats. That's the part that makes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe a little bit frustrating for me, because there's so many meta carts that you have to use. Remember when everyone in the world was using nothing but Wiggler and Waluigi combo? Like, it was everywhere online, and you had to do this if you wanted to compete. And same thing now with like the teddy bear and the small wheels. I'm tired of there being meta carts that you need to use in order to compete, especially online, when a lot of the time I just want to use a customization that looks goofy or that looks fun. You know what I mean? I want to customize my cart based on the look, not the stats. And that kind of goes for characters too. I guess it's not a real big deal with the whole weight system. I guess that can stay in the game with the weights of the characters, but still I would try to balance it out as much as I can and just keep it really simple and really basic. And if you still have customization, let it be purely cosmetic. Because for my combination, I really love the Circuit Special combined with the Cyber Slick tires, but look what that did for me. And honestly, they could go even further by having our own garage where we can spray paint our cars and change the color that we want instead of it depending on which character we pick. So that way we can really customize our carts. We can even paint the wheels and stuff. We kind of had something like this in Mario Kart DS. I'm sorry, that's just how good that freaking game was. Mario Kart DS has a lot to pull from. But literally just being able to change the color and stuff, and like I said, maybe even purchase new things for a cart would be awesome. I would like to see more side modes. Maybe things outside of battle or just different things added to battle. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe kind of did this a little bit by giving us tons of different types of mode, like the cops and robbers with the piranha plants was pretty cool. But maybe some different types of games that we can play with others. Maybe like a more open area, like a mini open zone or open world where we can play hide and seek and just drive around or stuff, or just mess around in our own lobbies and our own private servers. Stuff like that would be so cool. Of course, it's probably not going to happen, but just more things outside of, I guess, just battling. And another one of those things could be a track builder. I know this sounds insane, and actually Nintendo was asked about this for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and they actually said that they don't see it happening right now, but it's something that they definitely will look into in the future, and they think it could be a great addition. And it definitely could. It doesn't have to be anything insane, and maybe eventually we get a whole separate game that's like a Mario Kart maker instead. But I think for now, starting off as a small additional mode in Mario Kart 9 would be great, just to test the waters, give us a very limited amount of things to do, like a couple of, backgrounds, a couple of track options and stuff, just to see what people can create, and then eventually leading into its own separate game or something like that. But kind of like Smash Smash Bros. Stage Builder, having the option to build tracks and play them will be endless amounts of fun for everybody, especially if we can go online and download and play other people's tracks that they created as well. It just sounds like a dream come true. And there's games out there that have already been doing this. Like literally one of my favorite games growing up was RC Revenge Pro on the PS1 and PS2, and you could actually build tracks in that game. I mean, come on, Nintendo, we can do it today in 2025. And what other mode would possibly be better than a full-on story mode? Something that takes the best parts of like Mario Kart DS's mission mode and incorporates some actual story missions and stuff like we had in Diddy Kong Racing once again. Imagine a little hub world or like a small open zone or open world where we could drive around and like literally just drive up to NPCs, talk to them, accept missions or side quests that we have to do, maybe deliver things to different people across the land using items and stuff to use mushrooms over hills, and maybe just do little challenges within the overworld. Could be so cool. You know, like Korok hunting and stuff in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Imagine if you're always in a cart within Mario Kart and you had to like drive a character over to another character or something like that, or you had to like drive off a cliff and fly through the rings, or maybe it took you to separate stages once you talk to NPCs to do missions like I said from Mario Kart DS. Would be so cool. There could be boss battles like that game had as well. Man, I'm praying that this actually happens within this Mario Kart, because I feel like that's one of the weakest things for Mario Kart is the single player content, and giving players something to do outside of online and multiplayer functions and racing computers for cups. I think this would be a great alternative. And last but not least, we need more online options. There needs to be more incentive to go online with this next Mario Kart game. Maybe there's true rewards for racing other players online and a true ranking system this time around. Like, I hate just having all those points. It means nothing to me. Tell me how good I actually am. They could have letter grade lobbies, kind of similar to the way Splatoon does. You know, A, B, C, maybe even S rank or X rank as you go higher. I think that would be really cool. Maybe even have elite lobbies for the best of the best racers when you get to that final rank, and then maybe it starts numbering you how good you are in the region or even in the world. Nintendo hates doing that because they have like this weird thing where they hate being competitive. They want everybody to feel equal and stuff, but they still have competitive game modes like they do in Smash. Why not have an actual ranking system so I can see who's the best in the world, who's the worst, you know what I mean? Like, let me actually see where I actually fall into that category. Stuff like that would be cool, and just other things that you can play with others online. Like, for instance, you know, instead of just, you know, racing and battling, there's other modes you can play with others and more things and activities you can do online. Maybe an online shop that changes every day, that you spend those coins that you collected in-game for. This time you can actually use those coins instead of it just being a meaningless stat. But yeah, there's a lot of things they can definitely do to fix up the online with this next Mario Kart game. And just to be clear, I'm talking in-game currency, not actual real money. I'm looking at you, Tour. But the next Mario Kart is literally right around the corner. Whatever the game's going to be called and whatever's going to be in the game, I'm sure we'll find out very soon, and probably lots of information within the upcoming April Nintendo Direct. But for now, I want to hear what you guys want to see in this game, and maybe I'll make a separate video of all of your wishes that you guys have. So if you have a Mario Kart 9 wish, comment down below "wish" in all caps, followed by your Mario Kart 9 wish. Make it interesting, unique, and detailed enough to be featured in a future video. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.